As a fan of college football, week 4, it was definitely time for some conference matchups. So let's get into it. Hey, it's your girl Autumn, and I welcome you back to another edition of As a Fan of College Football. It's week 4. Well, it was week 4. We're going into week 5. My Buckeyes were on a bye week 4, so it just kind of is what it is. But we had some good stuff to talk about. Like, I can't even sit up here in front like we didn't have any good games. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's always good to see what's going on in the conference. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody wants to see how everybody else is doing because we know that these conference matchups are coming. So today I'm going to talk about just a couple of like 4 of the conferences. Of course, I'm going to talk about the MAC. Of course, I'm going to talk about the Big Ten. I'm going to talk about the SEC, and I'm going to talk about the Big 12. But before we get into it, there's a few things I need you to do. First, I need you to like this video. Now, I know sometimes you don't be want to really like the video until you've actually watched it, but I promise, if you're here, you're going to like the video. Number 2, make sure you hit the subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe for your girl. You know, let's go up and get these subscriptions up. And because that's going to encourage me to want to do this even more, even though I have been having a ball. Like, this has been so much fun. It's kind of crazy that it all started after that Michigan loss last year. I realized that yesterday. But you know what I'm saying? Hey, Ohio State went on and won the national championship, and I started this here commentary. So, you know, go ahead and subscribe. The other thing you need to do is hit the notification bell because you want to know when I'm going to drop a video. But not only when I'm going to drop a video, if I do a live premiere, which in most cases I pre-record and I do a live premiere. I am in the comments. If anybody comes in and wants to chit chat and watch the video with me, that's great. And at some point I'll get back to doing live streams. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's just one of those things I want to build up to as I get more subscriptions and more viewers. So do all of that for me. And let's go ahead and get into it. So like I said, we're going to talk about the MAC today. We're going to talk about the Big Ten. We're going to talk about the SEC. And we're going to talk about the Big 12. So first, we're going to start off with the MAC in action. And I was on Twitter, so I didn't get a chance to watch either one of these games. But I saw a bunch of commentary about Toledo. Like the fans were pissed. So I'm assuming at this point, I didn't even want to look at score, y'all. Like, I did not want to look at the score because I'm like, they must have really got beat down by freaking Western Michigan. Well, come to find out, they only lost by 1 point. It was 13-14, which is crazy. But I understand, you know, this type of game. Come on now, 13-14. Come on now, knock it off. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what happened. Tucker Gleason was 15 for 30 with only 89 yards passing, and he had 2 interceptions. That's Toledo's quarterback. So I don't know what was going on with him. I feel like I've reported on him, before, and he's actually done fairly well. So I don't know what was going on with Tucker. The only touchdown that was scored by Toledo was from their running back, Chip Trainum. He carried the ball 26 times for 153 yards. Funny enough, Western Michigan's Brock Lowry didn't pass for any touchdowns either. So it was this was the trash bowl? This is a trash QB bowl? What was going on here? I have no idea. So Brock was 16 for 30 with 201 yards and 1 interception, which wasn't much better than Gleason. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on with them. Listen, Western Michigan had 3 fumbles. Toledo had 1. Toledo had 4 sacks. Western Michigan had 2. Honestly, this was a poo fest. It was literally poo and poo playing this week. So I don't know what happened with my Rockets, but what I do know is I'm going to need them to get it together. I need to check to see if they play Ohio because, man, not Ohio State, but Ohio University because, man, Ohio, they wasn't no hoes. You know, we played them last week or week before last, and they wasn't no hoes. So I don't want to see my Rockets get beat down like that. But This is life. This is life in a MAC right now. The other MAC game I'm going to talk about again. I typically, now I report on BGSU. I don't like them, but I report on them simply because I am a huge fan, of course, of Eddie George. So first of all, we gotta shout him out because today is his birthday. Today is his birthday. So happy birthday, Eddie George, former Ohio State running back and Heisman Trophy winner. You know what I'm saying? He went to the NFL. Great guy. He got a gold jacket. It is what it is. Happy birthday. Glad you're here. And I didn't hear anything about Pudge this week, but I did follow Pudge on Instagram because I'm a cat lady. So let's talk about what happened at Louisville. Well, basically, what happened at Louisville was Bowling Green got the brakes beat off of them. So it was 17-40, which was pretty bad. My cousin Rhonda made sure that she came up on the post and let me know that her Louisville is her squad. She had to come and make sure that I knew that Bowling Green got beat up on, which is fine because, I don't really like them anyway. But, I just be wanting Eddie George to be great. You know what I'm saying? So I won't spend too much time here. Bowling Green's quarterback, Drew Pine, seemed to have struggled throwing the ball. He was 11 for 21 with 131 yards, one touchdown, and two interceptions. And honestly, all of these games that we're going to go through, it seems like it was just an interception fest. Like, I don't know what was going on with quarterbacks last week, but here we are. Bowling Green's defense had 3 sacks, but it wasn't enough to hold off Miller Moss, who was 23 for 32 with 316 passing yards. So he was out there, you know what I'm saying, getting his air game on. But what's crazy about it is none of their 40 points came from the air. How does that work? How do you throw 300? How do you throw for 316 yards and not nail one of them was in the end zone? That's crazy. That is, I don't know. That is crazy. Yeah, I mean, they did what needed to be done, though. There were 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 on Kajon Brown, 1 on Braxton Jennings, with the other 16 points either coming from field goals, extra points, or other thing was a punt return. So Colin Lacey returned a punt 75 yards. So, he put the wheels on. It was up and out of there. So that's what happened in Louisville and how Bowling Green got beat down into the ground. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we'll check on them again next week. Moving right along, Oregon State at number 6, Oregon. I knew, I said it. I said that, Oregon was going to do what needed to be done. I mean, and as they should, they were ranked number 6. Oregon State is not ranked at all. The assumption these days is that, if one team is ranked and the other team is not, they're not going to win. But as you can see through week 4, at least through week 3, we've had several upsets. Nonetheless, this wasn't an upset. What's a fun fact about this in-state rivalry is that it started in 1894. So it's like 131 years of hate. Like, that's like Kendrick Lamar level hate. You know what I'm saying? That's like haters, the player haters ball type of hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, this goes back. And I don't know what made me want to look that up, but they really been hating each other forever. Dante Moore threw for 305 yards and a career high 4 touchdowns. So he was out there doing what needed to be done. And overall, Oregon State they just couldn't get it together. They got off to a good start, it seemed like, and then it's like they ran out of gas. I mean, there's really nothing else to say about it other than the score was 77-41, and they didn't do well at all. So moving right along, let's talk about Purdue at number 24, Notre Dame. Now, y'all know how I feel about Notre Dame. If you've been here before, you already know how I feel about Notre Dame. They are one of those teams that you just never know what you're going to get. Sometimes they do the right thing. A lot of times they don't. This time around, they did the right thing. They beat Purdue 56-30. So what's crazy, though, you know what I'm saying? Notre Dame, we talked about this last week, shouldn't even be ranked. Like, they should not be ranked. I'm pretty sure, and I looked at the rankings, but of course I forgot. I don't know where they are now. But I'm pretty sure that they moved up in the rankings after this win that they should, you know what I'm saying? Like, that they should win. Like, I don't, like, they had lost 2 games. Like, I'm still pissed off about this. They lost 2 games and was still in the top 25. They was 24, but they was still in the top 25, which is crazy. Like, they lost to Texas A&M, and you would have thought that this is that they would have played the way that they played against Purdue. But I'm gonna shut up talking about it and keep it moving. CJ Carr was really out there throwing the ball. Like, he was putting it in the air. He completed 10 of 12 passes for 223 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was airing it out. And the reason why I say that, because he only threw the ball 12 times, but 223 yards out of just 10 completions, like, that's amazing. Like, that is great. That's what we like to see from a quarterback, right? Notre Dame's defense had been pretty trash coming into this game, as you guys already know, which is why I still don't understand why they are ranked in the first place. But we already revisited that. I guess you could kind of say they redeemed themselves against damn Purdue, with 2 interceptions and 2 sacks. Again, this is how they're supposed to be playing. They literally were the runners up of the national championship. Like, I mean, I know number 2 is not enough. However, and I don't think they had a whole lot of changes in their team. Like, they should have been doing this. Anywho, unfortunately for Purdue, they've given up 995 yards of total offense so far this season. I mean, I didn't even feel like I needed to say anything else. It's clear that they are having a time on defense. And I don't really follow Purdue all like that, but what I do know is they got to get it together if they plan on doing anything. I mean, that's damn near 1,000 yards y'all done gave up. That's a lot. So, anywho, moving right along. So let's talk about one of the SEC matchups. South Carolina at number 23, Missouri. Now, the score was South Carolina 20 to Missouri 29. I really didn't know how this game was going to go because, I mean, South Carolina had started out, I think, if I remember correctly, playing pretty well. I felt like they would be a contender. Excuse me, they would be a contender. They only lost by 9, so I mean, I guess that's still 2 scores, but it looks like it was a pretty good game. So it looks like also that Missouri won this game on the ground because they had 285 rushing yards total. That's a lot on the ground. So clearly that's how they won the game. Missouri's defense ended up with 8 tackles for a loss, including 5 sacks, with -9 yards rushing. So I don't know what that was about. That was crazy. I'm sorry, not -9, with 9 yards rushing. So that's just insane. Even still, Lenora Sellers had 302 yards passing, including 2 touchdowns for South Carolina. So Missouri stopped the run, but they couldn't stop him from passing. Like, they couldn't stop the air game. So that's one of the ways that they really messed up. Bo Prabula, 16 for 27, 171 yards, and one touchdown and 1 interception. So, no upsets there in that particular SEC matchup. It was a good game, and that was that on that. Moving right along. So we all know that we've been keeping an eye on these teams in Florida. It's just been crazy to watch. And I don't even know why, because I feel like a lot of the Florida teams, like, we really hadn't seen a whole lot. Like, I remember last year, Miami, again, they were just like cut off from being in the playoffs. I thought they were going to be in the playoffs, but they didn't make it. So clearly they have been building their program, of course, trying to get back to their glory days. I hadn't heard a whole lot about the Gators, but I still was a little bit surprised at how they've been playing. Like, I don't know what's going on with them. I know their quarterback, last week, they, He had like 5 interceptions. It was crazy. I don't know. But anywho, they were outgained 344 to 144 yards, and were 0 for 13 on third downs. So they made us ended up with a stat which was the worst performance by an FBS team since 2022. What's going on with the Florida Gators, guys? What is going on with them? Like, nobody knows. I don't feel like anybody knows what's going on. And honestly, with this game, again, it was Florida 7, Miami 26. I thought it was going to be worse than that. So I'm kind of maybe I shouldn't side eye Miami, because that's like one of those in-state rivalries as well. And everybody plays a little bit differently during a rivalry. Like, you just never know what's gonna happen, no matter who's ranked, who's not, who has the overall better team. Like, it's literally one of those any given Saturday type of ordeals when we have rivalries going on. So, but honestly, initially, I did think that Miami was gonna like completely blow them out. Didn't happen. I mean, they outscored them. They won the game, but it wasn't like a huge blowout. Both teams are on a bye this week, this upcoming week for week 5. But the Texas at Florida game on October 3rd should be a good one. I'm looking forward to that. Like, I think it should be some really good entertainment in that Texas at Florida game. All right, so moving along to the next game, we have number 17 Texas Tech at number 16 Utah. And I'm going to just tell you right now, this is a Big 12 matchup. And I'm going to just tell you right now that Utah got out there and played like some hoes. I mean, I didn't think that this was going to happen. I was totally wrong. I picked Utah to win at home, and they really got out there and did the least. This is why I don't gamble. Well, there's 2 reasons. One reason, I don't gamble on sports. One reason is because this really would have pissed me off, because I would have lost my money. And second of all, I'm just too invested. People always ask me, I don't do fantasy football. I don't do any of that stuff. Like, people are like, why you don't do it? Like, you're knowledgeable enough. And I don't have the attention span for fantasy football. And I also I'm too invested. Like, I'm too invested in my Buckeyes. Like, my whole fantasy team gonna be the damn Buckeyes, and I'm gonna lose. So that's why I don't do it. Anyway, went off into a whole nother tangent. So Utah simply, they just didn't have it together. Devon, or is it Devin or Devon? I'm not sure. Dampier threw 25 for 38 with 162 yards passing. You would think that throwing the ball 38 times, bro, like, I don't know. Texas Tech had 484 total yards to Utah's 263 total yards. And Texas Tech actually had 2 quarterbacks that played in this game. So here's what had happened. Aaron Morton was subbed for Will Hammond in the 3rd quarter after he slid headfirst into a Utah linebacker, and then hit his head on the turf. So of course they had to take him out. I mean, it's just concussion protocol. That's at any level of football. That's what they do. So they had to take him out, make sure he was all right. So Morton came in. But the crazy part is Morton threw for 142 yards and 2 interceptions before Will Hammond was placed and threw 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, and rushed for 69 yards. So I don't know. I'm feeling like Will Hammond might be their new starting quarterback. They might sit the other Morton this week and still call it, injury or a concussion or whatever it is, concussion protocol. They say that they're monitoring him, but I would not be surprised if they started other quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm gonna have to check in with them week 5 to see what happens. So it's crazy because like Utah's quarterback passed for 162 yards. I know I said that already. But the damn substitution came in for Texas Tech and threw 169 yards. It's just so crazy how those things work. It was a good game. I mean, it wasn't a great game, but it was a shocking game. I did not think it was going to go that way, but I guess it's good for the other opponents in the Big 12 to see what they are up against in the upcoming weeks. So y'all want to talk about a little bit of drama? Do we want to have a conversation about a little bit of drama? Number 22 Auburn at number 11 Oklahoma. Auburn 17, Oklahoma 24. This was a SEC matchup, and boy, was it drama. The drama was abundant. Like, they are still talking about what went on in that game. Apparently, Auburn's current quarterback, Jackson Arnold, used to play for Oklahoma. So that was one part of the drama. The other thing is, what I want to know is, who is responsible for allowing Oklahoma to get 9 sacks? At what part of the game is this? What is going on? What is going on with Auburn's offensive line? 9 sacks? That's over the top. That's over the top. 9, like, y'all blew coverage that, like, they were able to blow that coverage that many times. Like, what is happening? Like, do they have some injuries or something? I don't know. But Jaden Jackson had 2.5 sacks, and R. Mason Thomas had 2 sacks on, for Oklahoma. So clearly these young men were all over the place. And then it was like an individual person for each of the other sacks that happened. Like, it's clear to me that defense won that game, even though there was still more drama to come, right? So let's talk about it. Oklahoma pulled some straight foolery. When I say they pulled some foolery, so they basically acted like they were subbing one of their wide receivers. And what he did was he walked over to the sideline, and they called the play. They started the play, and he ran right for the end zone and scored. Let's take a look at it. Okay, let's check this out.
Auburn never sees him.
And you can't see from this angle that he's out. But, like, he's not out of bounds, but he's just over at the sideline.
You cannot use the
Check this
substitution
out.
process to deceive your opponent. If that's what they were
Crazy.
trying to do, that's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Coach was
it should
pissed.
Be 15 yards and no touchdown.
Coach was pissed. And as he should have been. As he should have been. Now, so the SEC put out a statement that said, in Saturday's Auburn at Oklahoma football game with 10:50 remaining in the second quarter, a pass was thrown to Oklahoma number 5, resulting in a touchdown. Oklahoma number 5 participated in previous play, which was a first down play from the 22-yard line. After the first down play was completed, Oklahoma number 25 continued towards his team's sideline, but stopped just before reaching the Oklahoma sideline. NCAA football rule, I can't see that. Is it G2 Article 2? Is labeled unfair tactics, with paragraph B stating, no simulated replacements or substitutions may be used to confuse opponents. No tactic associated with substitutes or the substitution process may be used to confuse opponents. This includes any hideout tactic with or without a substitution. The officiating crew did not properly interpret this action as a hideout tactic. If properly officiated, the second down play should have resulted in a team unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of 15 yards assessed from the previous spot. Appropriate accountability will be applied without additional comment. So, I mean, the commentary around this, of course, from Auburn fans is this is the kind of, this would have given them a chance to win the game. And honestly, I don't think I I don't know if I believe that. So first, my first question, I guess my main question is, why didn't Auburn clock this? Like, even if you're not playing man defense, like everybody is supposed to have eyes on everybody. Like, everybody is supposed to be accounted for, right? Am I right? Everybody is supposed to be accounted for. So how y'all thought that this player went out of the game when he literally just walked over to the sideline and lined up? He must have been lined up like I don't know, like maybe he had to have been on the line of scrimmage, right? He wasn't supposed to be, but still nobody clocked it. Like, nobody clocked this. Nobody. No coach. No official. No referees. No nobody. Nobody caught this, and I'm not understanding why. So I don't know. Like, I honestly, I'm not sure if it would have made a difference. I guess we'll never know. You know what I'm saying? If it would have made a difference, but it was definitely a whole. It was definitely a whole move. Like, why would they do that? Like, they just said we gonna go. Like, I wonder if these coaches read through these rule books and see things that hardly ever happen. I don't. Has this ever happened before? Like, has this ever? It probably has happened, which is why there's a rule, right? But it can be a frequent thing, is what I'm saying. It's no way that this is something frequent that happens. So I wonder if these coaches kind of go through these rules sometimes and see, because he knew damn well that that was illegal. Like, you cannot sit here and tell me that that man didn't know that what he was doing was wrong. So again, he thought he felt like he needed an edge, which sucks, because you need to have some faith in your damn team. And that's how I feel about any type of like cheating at all. Like, you need to have some faith in your team, or if you don't have any faith in your team, you need to get some new people on the team. If you don't have faith in your coaches, you need to get new coaches. Y'all see, it's been the damn four damn coaches that got fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, you gotta what if you don't? I said it. I said it already 4 times. If you ain't got no faith in your team, like, you need some new people on the team. And honestly, I feel like that would have been a like smack in the face. That's what it would have felt like to me as a player. Like, you gotta do this. I like, and unless they are just the type of people that are just so hungry, like, oh, we just have to beat them. But I don't even really know what else to say about it. I mean, it was a whole ass move, but Auburn should have clocked it. They should have clocked it. I don't even know, like, but they should have clocked it. It should have been reviewed. The officials definitely failed them with that particular call. But honestly, I don't think it would have made a difference in the end. I still think that Oklahoma would have won this game. And y'all know what I always say: don't let the refs decide the game. Like, you need to be ahead enough to not let the refs decide the game. You need to be good enough. Like, you have to be better than the refs. If you're not better than the refs, like, you're doomed. At any given time, you're doomed. So I mean, and honestly, let's just think about it here. We know how we hear about Vegas all the time. You know, we know how we hear about players who are throwing games. We know how we hear about referees that are throwing games. Like, this is not like a myth. Like, these things actually happen. So, you know, hell, for real, the damn ref probably was on it. You just never really know. So you have to be better than them. You have to be better than them. There's just no other way around it. So I am eager to see what the punishment is going to be for that. Like, what do y'all think is going to be? Like, do they fine the refs? Like, what's going to happen? I'm eager to see that. So that was like the most drama. Oh, the other drama, it was some other drama. Y'all seen, I know y'all saw what Arch did to that team that they was playing. Now, what they're saying is the young man that he, ran. Okay, so Arch ran in the touchdown, and he felt like a man, and he stood over this young man and said all of these things. Now, honestly, I felt like it was taunting, and he probably should have gotten a penalty for that, but I don't think he did. Either way, people are saying, well, dude had been talking shit to him the whole game. Okay, well, teams talk shit. Like, players talk shit. That's what happens. But when you literally stand over a player, and that's like, people get knocked out for less. You understand what I'm saying? There, it be whole fights for less than that. So, which is why they have taunting rules. That's the reason why, because they don't want any type of ruckus to break out on these, with these teams or whatever, because somebody is smelling themselves. So, I feel like it was kind of tasteless that they was beating up on them as bad as they were, and they won. Like, I think they put like 60 on them boys. And your guy who at the beginning of the season who was supposed to be like heaven sent and like a Heisman front runner and all of these things, showed a very different side of himself. Like, and I'm not saying this because it was him. I would have said it if it was anybody. And that's real. Like, come on now. Like, act like you've been here before. Don't sit up here and do the most. Because this is what you're supposed to act like you've been here before. This is what you're supposed to be doing. That's another reason too why, like, I think, especially when it comes to the NFL, right? I think that like touchdown celebrations are cool. I do. Like, I think they're cool, but I feel like they've gotten a little bit grandiose. Like, they've got like these dudes. Like, do you practice this? It seems like they practice this more than they actually practice football. It'd be a whole dance routine. The one dude set them up as pins and rolled the bowling ball at them. Like, it's a lot. I just be feeling like the celebration honestly should come when the game is won. What did Kobe say? We're not done. We're not done yet. Like, and I feel that. It's just, I don't know. I think sometimes in the NFL it's more for the entertainment, because y'all know the NFL is an entertainment source. It's an entertainment company. Like, it's supposed to be for pure entertainment. And I can remember a time when they were doing like outrageous sellies, and they would get fined for it. But now they've started to allow them to do this, and I don't know if it's for like, people, if more people tune in because of that. I don't know. It don't make no sense to me. But I mean, dap your teammates up. If you want to point up to the sky, or even you just want to do a little dance yourself or whatever, something that you made up. But to have like a whole like play, a theatrical presentation, sometimes I think it's over the top. And I'm not gonna lie, again, they be funny. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I can't say that it's not entertaining, because it is. I just feel like some of them be celebrating and the game ain't over, and then they lose the damn game, and now we looking at these celebrations of a game that y'all ass ain't even win. Like, cut it off, cut it out, knock it off, right? All right, moving on to number 9, Illinois at number 19, Indiana. I honestly couldn't believe what I was watching. Illinois lost to Indiana 10-63 in a Big Ten matchup. Illinois was ranked number 9. Indiana was ranked number 19. Is this just another case of them getting the rankings wrong? Like, or did they read these teams wrong? It was just a total massacre. How does something like this happen? And so now, like, the Ohio State fans are like, oh, well, we feel a little bit more comfortable about playing Illinois. Bruh, you should have felt comfortable. Every game we play, you need to feel comfortable about us going into. Like, now I know I be stressing out. I know I be stressed and all the things. But in the back of my mind, I be kind of settled. Even after losing the last 4 games that we've lost, I always went into the game like, we got this. Always. Always. I mean, again, am I anxious? Like, am I like, oh my God, like this, it's happening? Yes. But in the, like, y'all needed to see Illinois lose this much to say, oh, now we gonna wipe the board with them. That may or may not be true. Like they might have, they might have woke up after this and like, no, we're not gonna get beat like that anymore. Now, they are gonna get beat, but maybe it's not gonna be by 53 points. Is all I'm saying. I couldn't believe it. Like I said, I picked Indiana to win. It's real clear that Signetti had them boys together. He was talking this big one at the press conference, saying there's nothing better than being a Grinch in the second half with a big lead. Like he was talking this shit. He definitely got in there and talked cash shit. I can't really even blame him. It just kind of is. It just kind of is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Fernando Mendoza threw 5 touchdown passes and went 21 of 23 for 267 yards, which made him the first Hoosier with multiple games of 5 or more touchdown passes in 3 quarters, which is phenomenal. Like, that's a great stat. That's why I wanted to read it. Like, that is a great stat. D'Angelo Pons scooped a punt he blocked and returned it for 11 yards for a touchdown. Elijah Surratt was 9 for 92 yards with 2 touchdowns. Omar Cooper Jr. was 6 for 78 with 1 touchdown. So that's what their running backs did. For Illinois, Altmaier was 14 of 22 with 146 yards and was sacked 7 times. Didn't I tell y'all that this video was going to be about a sack fest? Like 5 times, 9 times, 7 times. What is going on with these offensive lines? What is going, like, are there no offensive linemen in the portal? Or is it that we're not trying to pay offensive linemen? Like, what is happening? What is happening? I don't understand. There has to be some science behind this. I have never heard of so many sacks happening across teams like this, like across several teams. Like every once in a while, you will get a crazy ass, game where somebody might get sacked 4 or 5 times. Like we've all seen it. But to have several games, and I'm only covering a handful of the games that went on this weekend, it's just ridiculous. Anywho, Illinois also had multiple injuries on defense, but the biggest blow was losing team captain and leading tackler Miles Scott on a targeting call early on. And I do remember that was way early on. He got clipped for targeting. So crazy game. And the last game that I'm talking about is my failed hate watch. Number 21 Michigan at Nebraska, and it was actually a decent game for the most part. Like it was like I sat and watched this game, but I'm trying to figure out how Nebraska did the most and the least at the same damn time. I'm trying to figure that out. So Raiola, who we all know as the guy who wants to be Patrick Mahomes real bad, which is a little creepy. He went 30 of 41 for 308 yards and 3 touchdowns. But here we go again. He was sacked 7 freaking times. What is happening? What is going on with offensive lines? Because I need to know. I need to know. 7 times he was sacked. Insane. And then looking at Bryce Underwood, like here's the verdict that I've come to think about him. Big guy, he's tall, he's built, and he can run. I don't know if it's like I've seen him throw the ball and it seemed like he had a pretty good arm, but maybe he's just not accurate. That's exactly what it is. He's just not accurate. He was 12 of 22 for 105 yards and a fumble. Like, excuse me? he had just over half the passing attempts that Dylan Raiola had, which tells me that Michigan is really just not trusting his arm. So if you're playing Michigan, know that they're going to run the ball. But this has kind of been their thing. Last year, that's how they beat us. Like their whole thing has been keeping the ball on the ground. And I guess it's kind of a good idea, being that all of these sacks are going on. You see, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least there's not a whole, if he's handing the ball off to a running back, like, there's not a whole lot of time to get sacked. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if he's putting the ball in the air, he's dropping back in the pocket, it's going to be some time to get sacked. But I don't even know. Like, I just feel like they're not trusting Bryce Underwood to throw the ball. They're not doing it. And clearly it's just because he's not as accurate as they would like him to be. So again, another issue in development for Bryce. I don't have any doubts that Bryce is going to be a great quarterback. Like, I think he's going to be great. But as it stands right now, I'm not going to say he's mid, but I'm going to say that he's not, to me, living up to the hype that everybody said that he would be. And again, I am not, yes, I love my Ohio State Buckeyes, but I'm gonna tell y'all how I really feel about things. Like, it's not always just, I'm not being a hater. I mean, I can be a hater and I do be a hater. But with this, talking about Bryce, talking about Arch, if it was Julian, I'd be saying the same damn thing. And I said it, I think I did say it after we played Texas. I was like, are they just not trusting him to throw the ball? I said that, but that wasn't necessarily the case. So that is your week 4 wrap up for this week. I'm looking forward to week 5. Ohio State has already traveled out west to play Washington. I have a work trip and I will be on a plane during at least half of that game. So I'm hoping that I can get connected to their internet and watch YouTube TV so that I can see the part of the game that I'm going to miss. But good luck to my Buckeyes. I know playing out west is not an easy thing to do for teams in the Midwest. Like, I know, again, we went out to Oregon last year and what happened? You know what I'm saying? So I hope that they do well. I think we have some great games coming up this week. And until you hear me or see me again,